Summer used your head as a bop it last season and you have no problem being cool with her. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Summer House Martha's Vineyard. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So y'all, I'm just getting really frustrated with this show because I know it could be better. I'm going to continue watching and supporting because this is a black show and I do want it to continue. But there needs to be a little bit of a revamp. Okay, there needs to be some tweaks to the cast, if you ask me. First of all, before we get into that, there needs to be better activities. I know there is a better time of the year for y'all to be going there. Why is it every time y'all are filming there, it's like y'all are going when it's dry, when there's not that many people there? They need to be mixing and mingling with more than just each other. They are on vacation. This does not feel like a vacation. It's stressful. People crying every 2 seconds. Like, they need to get away and let their hair down, have fun. Like I said last episode, why are they not going jet skiing? Why are they not parasailing? Why are they not, I don't know, do they have scuba dive? Like something, and make it a little bit luxurious. Drop a little bit of money on it because that's why we watch Bravo shows. Next, we need singles. Singles. People who are on the show, single and ready to mingle. There is only one single man on this show and all the women are fighting over him. It is so sad. You're setting the single women up for failure with this show because they don't have any options. There's not many people to root for on this show. Everybody is being mean girls and we're reducing ourselves down to rooting for the person being bullied at this point, being outcasted, being iced out. And the new person, Noelle, who we are still getting to know. I do like her, but everyone else is frustrating. Y'all need to get rid of a lot of people that are just willing to go along with the status quo. We need some people that are willing to stand up to somebody like Bria, that will stand up to somebody like Jordan and not let them just run this whole house and send people in the next room crying and have them apologizing for being yelled at. But yeah, pretty much everybody looks miserable every episode. Everybody except for Amir, who is not emotionally invested whatsoever in these people at all. Like, nobody looks happy. Nobody looks like, this does not look like a vacation. So with that rant being said, we pick up with Jasmine and Bria having their argument. Bria has just told Jasmine that she's not comfortable with Mariah's coming. Even though Summer used your head as a bop it last season and you have no problem being cool with her. But all of a sudden, it's a big deal for Mariah to come because she shoved some dog clothes into your shoulder. What I really don't like about this situation is they don't know about Jasmine's pregnancy yet. So I'll give them a pass on that. But they do know that her husband is deployed. First of all, I can't imagine how lonely that is. Second of all, how scary that is because we don't know what's going to go down while he's gone. That's a very nerve-wracking thing. And for y'all to be icing her out during this time, I feel like that's a big part of the reason. Obviously, she's pregnant, so she's emotional. But I feel like that's another reason. Like, these people, when I need my friends the most, they are leaving me hanging out to dry. That's why she keeps on saying, I needed this summer. I needed y'all. I needed to mingle with somebody. She's in that house alone. She doesn't deserve to not have anyone on her side. So for Bria to put a roadblock, for her to have at least one ally that has her back and stands 10 toes behind her, oh, that bothered me so bad. Bria is seeing her friend cry out and she is still pressing the issue. Still, just very ugly behavior. Preston had enough because he was like, well, you were trying to invite Phil. So what if the whole house would have said yes to Phil coming and I said no? Would you still have invited him? And she was like, no, I would have respected your feelings. That's a lie. Because the same day y'all had that house meeting and said that Phil couldn't come, you called him and y'all were both calling Preston a crybaby and laughing about that. And so now that you're in Preston's face, you want to try to switch it up and say that you would have had his back. No, you would not. You didn't even have his back on the phone. She got mad that he even asked her that question. She was like, who are you calling out right now? And, tries to get hype. She reminds me so much of Milo. Just doing all that, yip, but ain't gonna do nothing. He told her, look, nobody is scared of you, so stop raising your voice. Everybody feels the same way about you. You're a brat, and we all know it. He's telling the truth, but it's like, y'all allow it. Whatever she does, y'all might try to pacify her in the moment, but y'all never actually check her for that nasty behavior. She gets away with it every time. That's why it won't stop. Nick is on the side trying to tell her, you look insane right now. She's like, I don't care. He was like, you should. That part was so funny to me. But I'm just like, Nick, don't whisper it. Say it with your chest. Like, tell her with your full voice. You don't have to holler and scream, but tell her you look crazy right now. There's no reason for you to be up and bouncing around and hollering at nobody. So on the ride home, she goes off on Alex, Amir, and Noel for not backing her up in that nonsense. And Alex turned around and said, well, Jasmine is allowed to feel hurt. She's allowed to feel how she feels. I hate you right now, Alex. I'm going home if y'all don't speak up, and slams the door. And Noel was like, oh, Bria. And it was like, I wish they would have just said sayonara. Like her hat said, sayonara. But they were like, oh, she always gets like that when she's drunk. Once again, excusing the behavior. Meanwhile, Milo is in that room, tearing up all her makeup. Is spread all across the floor, in the bathroom, tearing up the toilet tissue, ripping it up into shreds. It looked like confetti in there. I ain't gonna lie, it was so satisfying to watch because I knew she was gonna have to be the one to clean all that up. That's what you get. So she's storming in, and Nick is just telling her that Milo is crying for her, that he's in there whimpering or whatever. And she cussed him out. Like, she cussed him out for no reason at all. And I'm like, Nick, that's what you get. You the first one to run after her. Every time she storms out, Nick is the first one to hop up. Do y'all ever notice that? Whenever she came back downstairs, he confronts her. He's like, why did you give me all the smoke? I didn't even do nothing to you. And she's like, that's because you said you're a hoe. Stop crying. Nick don't even talk like that, let alone would he have said that to you, his friend. And you know that. You just wanted an excuse to snap on somebody, and you just made that up. And I wish, once again, that Nick would have stood up, said it with his chest. I am your friend. I have been here for you since day one. And that's how you treat me, somebody who has been your friend? Do it again and see how long this friendship lasts. Yeah, I'm not tolerating any sort of disrespect coming from you. You ain't gonna talk to me any kind of way. I wish he would have said something like that. What actually happened is she just, I thought you said that. And then she starts joking and downplaying it. And he's like, oh, I'm just so confused. You ain't confused. You just ain't got no backbone. You know, she starts asking the men, would they be her sleep support and come take a nap with her, which I feel like was disrespectful to Nick, who has a girlfriend, and disrespectful to your own boyfriend. I don't feel like he would be okay with that either. But, you know, they kind of let her joke her way out of acting a fool. And I'm like, this is exactly how that sort of behavior gets solidified. She knows that she could do this again, and all she got to do at the end of the day is make y'all laugh, and y'all would just completely let it go. We also see a scene of Jasmine apologizing to Shanice for whatever part she played in bringing up the whole stalking situation. That was very sweet of Jasmine to do, because she really didn't have to do that. But also she probably did, because she really doesn't have that many allies in the house. Shanice is still crying about it, crying and upset, saying she had to take out $5,000 for a lawyer because she couldn't afford it. Plus, we know she lost her job as well. So she's just really in her feelings about it. In the next scene, she's talking to Bria and saying, you know, I was saying how much I hated Alex and all that. Even my mom hated you. That was wild. And I believe her mom does hate him. You know, she's saying all that, and then he walks in, and then she acts like it's all good. I hope it's all good, because you have a history of saying it's all good and then crying about something or going off about it later. You need to go ahead and address things in a moment, because if not, you just let it linger and fester, and then you're just going to blow up later, and everybody's going to be like, well, where did that come from? And then she apologized to him for saying, I hate you, and he did not apologize at all to her for bringing that stalking situation up in the first place. So then we have a scene with Jasmine talking to Bria. She gave in, and Mariah will not be staying at the house, but she will be invited to the festivities. So she'll be coming to some of their events, and I hate that. I feel like if Mariah were in this house, she would round out the cast a little bit better. She would balance things a little bit more because she's a different personality from most of the other girls in the house. And also, I forgot to mention Jason, who was on last season, the one that is a single father, but he is single. You know what I'm saying? Why did they not invite him back? I feel like he was a good, little balancing personality as well. I feel like the house could have been a little different if they had been there. If I were Jasmine, I would have just went ahead and dropped that pregnancy bomb so I could get my way. Girl, I'm pregnant, okay? I need all of the support I can get, okay? I need my friend here with me. I would have played that pregnancy card so fast and so hard, and I wouldn't stop crying until I got my way. She did tell us the reason why she feels the need to try to hold on to her friendship with Bria. She's one of the only people that showed up to Silas's farewell ceremony before he was deployed. Alex, Jason, I think those are only two other people from the cast that showed up. And so she doesn't want to lose. She still wants to show her that she respects her as a friend. And to a certain extent, I could see that. But girl, Bria was just out of line. So then they have a basketball outing. And it's funny because Shanice played basketball in high school and college. And I never would have pegged her for that. Because she just, I don't know, she just doesn't give athletic. Especially with this episode where she injured herself and was on crutches by the end of it. Like, you seem a little clumsy. During their outing, we have Preston and Bria have a conversation. My mind is blown that nobody is standing on business with this girl once again. I thought Preston for sure was going to actually, not in a loud, in her face kind of way, but just really tell her how he feels and just put his foot down saying like how her behavior is not acceptable. But he gave in once again. He was like, I just don't want you to think that I'm not appreciative of you, letting me know Phil was coming. That's the least she could have done. Look at how she acted with Jasmine. She would have been a total hypocrite if she didn't let you know. And honestly, I don't even think it was her idea. Jasmine was the one who wanted to have a house meeting before he came. Now she wants him to talk to Phil on FaceTime. Preston said he's open to talking to him. And I'm not mad at the situation. I just wish that he would have gotten his true feelings out as well. Their interactions with her are so deflating and unsatisfying. I believed in you, Preston. You let me down. At the end of this little outing, Noelle was running to the bathroom throwing up. And I was just like... And like I said, Shanice hurt her foot. So she had to literally crawl because she couldn't walk on her foot at all until she got some crutches. So then they went out that night and Bria was denied entry into the club because she was trying to bring Milo in there. And she was like, well, when I go to the club overseas, they let me in the club with the dog. And I'm just like, aren't you most likely with a rich white man standing next to you? That's probably most likely why. Like, and why would you want to bring a dog in there? It's crazy. If y'all ain't gonna shut Bria down, that club did not hesitate to do it, okay? So it was funny. Summer was like, do you need a ride home? She is so fake to me. So they went in without her, and surprise, the night was drama free without her. Even though it was very lame and dry, like once again, do y'all not go when it's popping? Like, yeah, it's beautiful scenery, but y'all don't make it look like it's a fun place to go where all the people are, because it just looks dry at all times. So then we have Amir, and he has a rodeo day, and I am not gonna lie, I'm very appreciative of him bringing this activity, because this is what I'm talking about. Let's do something different. Let's get out of our comfort zone. Let's have fun in a different way. And then he cooked them a really good breakfast. It looked really good. We see everybody dressing up, either like cowboys or like an equestrian rider. That's how Noelle was dressed up. I thought she looked so cute in her outfit. I love that. But anyway, Jasmine knocks on Preston's door so she could get a cowboy hat from him. And why are all his cheeks out? We just really did not need to see all of that uncensored. Anyway, before they leave, Preston has that FaceTime call with Phil. And Preston said that he just wants to give him a chance to see if he's changed. Preston was offended by him coming in talking about people soft and zesty, and you know, all that language kind of triggers him from when he was bullied in the past, and he felt uncomfortable. He kind of tried to blame it on the alcohol at first, but then he said it wasn't his intention, but there's no justification behind it. He said he's been in therapy for a year and a half, and you know, he did apologize to Preston, and Preston did accept, but I'm not buying it, because just a week ago you was calling Preston a crybaby, and I kind of wish that Preston had heard that conversation before he had this conversation. I don't know who coached him into saying what he said, and I'm not saying he hasn't been going to therapy and hasn't changed, but he was very unapologetic just a week ago. It was funny because he was really upset that Alex said that he wasn't a real comedian, and he was like, "That's how I make my money." And then Preston was like, "Well, do you make a lot of it?" That was hilarious. I loved it. Preston was like, "I can be a comedian too." And I'm just like, okay, if you're a comedian, you really blew your chance to display that. You really could have took that whole situation and made a joke out of it, made it fun, made it light. That could have been what you added to this group, but you chose to be aggressive. Like, that's on you. So anyway, they go and they rode horses, and you know, they did some fun outdoor relay race type things, and at some point they were bobbing for apples, and Noelle was just talking about, you know, that sounds fun until you think about how long has that water been sitting out. Did anybody wash those apples? Y'all are gonna be sharing germs, just bobbing your head in there. And I'm just like, yeah, it does sound pretty unsanitary. I ain't even gonna lie when you talk about it like that. So then we see Amir on the phone with his girlfriend, and she was being very short and passive aggressive with him. He kept on trying to compliment her and talk about how beautiful she was, and she was just having a stank attitude. And he said that she doesn't outright tell him how she feels, but he has to figure out through little hints and little things that she drops to him. And I feel like that's very immature. Just say how you feel. And I also feel like she feels some type of way that he's on this show. And I think she has it in her mind that the women want him. But did you not watch last season? Wasn't nobody interested in him, including the one he was pursuing. So you really ain't got nothing to worry about. But, I don't know. This is the attitude that y'all think is so spicy and cute when it's others, but when it's us, it's aggressive and angry. Anyway, so then all of the girls, they go out to the hot tub in order to chill or whatever. And Bria asked Noelle, has she talked to Summer about the fact that she didn't know that Summer had hooked up with Alex. And, you know, Noelle was like, yeah, I just really didn't know if y'all had past dealings. And Summer thought that she understood the dealings that they had. And it's like, why didn't you just tell her up front? But then again, Noelle, you should know. If she said that she had messed around with the man, you should have known what that was. And I keep thinking that Noelle is young because she gives very naive, but it turns out Noelle's 28. So Noelle should know a little bit better by now. I really like Noelle though. I do. I think she just thinks the best of everyone. And sometimes you got to look at people for their intentions. You really do. Summer was like, well, I didn't know if she was going to like him or not because she just met him. It's also like, well, why would you let her get that far without her knowing that information too? You know what I'm saying? Just give her the heads up just so she would know. Summer claims it was a miscommunication and not a setup. She wasn't trying to set her up for failure. And she was like, well, I should have said that he's been inside of me. She said more than that, but I'm not going to repeat that. Summer, that consistent phrasing, the fact that you keep saying that, lets me know that you loved it and you still want him. And you're trying to convince everybody else. You might even be trying to convince yourself that you don't. Okay? But that man had you sprung. He had you taking pictures of him without him knowing it and sending it to your friends. Okay? And you know you didn't want Noelle liking him. So you set her up and you sabotage that as well. Because maybe you want to make Alex look like the bad guy. or maybe you don't want to look like the only one that looks like a fool. I don't know why you did it, but it's so unhinged and immature for you to keep saying it like that. And so because she was kind of getting unraveled and exposed, she hops up and blows up. I guess it's after me then. And she just storms off. She loved to do that whenever she gets backed into a corner. You know, Noelle runs after her and is very mature. Even though I do feel like she has her naive ways, she's very mature when it comes to friendship and handling conflict. Noelle talks to Jasmine in the kitchen. So they're having their conversation and Amir pulls up and just starts eating. And he was like, oh, I'm just an audience. And then when Summer came through and Noelle wanted to go talk to her, he was like, what happened there? Y'all, I know a lot of people think it's funny. I know a lot of people are looking at him as the comic relief, but to me, it's so forced. I feel like he's putting on an act. He did not act like this last summer. And all of a sudden, he's goofy. He has these goofy faces. It's just cringe to me. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's genuine reaction. If it were genuine, I could laugh at it and get behind it, but it just don't feel real to me. But anyway, Noelle and Summer have their one-on-one. So she was like, everybody handles conflict differently. When someone is hurting inside, they're quick to lash out and slow to listen. She read Summer very well. And she also said that it's tough to support your friend when you don't know what they're going through. And I feel like that's a setup for us to hear whatever, I don't want to call it a sob story because she might really be going through something, but that's a setup for us to hear whatever Summer's story is. And I still don't think it's an excuse for her behavior. The same way I don't think Jordan's alopecia is an excuse for how she behaves. Noelle tells Summer that she never intended to gang up on her. If that's how she felt, she apologizes for that. Summer said, I'm sorry that I walked away, but I was just really irritated with Bria because Bria was kind of instigating. Bria's quick to try to buck up on somebody. So I could understand how that part of it was irritating to Summer. Noelle was like, well, I'm glad you had the courage to walk away because we all know Summer is a street fighter. She would have knocked Bria straight in that pool if she had the chance to. She already put her hands on her once. So then we have Jasmine's dinner, and she let everybody know earlier through text that there was going to be a special guest that night. And she stands up to give her speech, and she was like, well, our guest has already been here. And she announces her pregnancy, and everybody's like, what? Oh, that's so sweet. Alex claims he knew already because she wasn't drinking and she had on a blue dress and the table was decorated in blue. The women in the group were like, yeah, we kind of knew because your boobs had gotten bigger. Nick was like, yeah, I knew because, you know, she was just glowing. And here's Amir completely clueless. I had no idea. When she was like, the guest has already been here. He's looking under the table. Oh, where's the guest? Like an off-brand Scooby-Doo. I can't. She tells them that the whole time that they've been there, she's been sucking in all day long. And, you know, she's in her second trimester, so it's been getting harder and harder for her to do. She's getting tired of it. So she showed them what her stomach looked like when she squeezed in versus when she just let the baby be. And I'm like, the baby just squeezed all up in the abdomen like that? She really did a good job because that was wild to me because I'm like, I didn't know you could squeeze the baby in like that. But you could not tell she was pregnant when she sucked in. So I could understand how some people might have been fooled. Amir asked, will Silas be able to come back whenever you go into labor? And unfortunately, she has to give birth before they are willing to release him. And also she has to send a picture. She has to send proof of the baby being born. And I felt so bad. I'm like, that is so messed up. Like, y'all can't let this man come home like at least the week that she's supposed to give birth, especially if she's going to be induced. Like, that was so heartbreaking. And you could tell that she wanted to break down, but she was holding back on that. She also said that she holds back on a lot of her feelings with that because she doesn't want to transfer those feelings to the baby. And I'm just like, y'all are such jerks for how y'all were treating her. All of y'all owe her an apology, each individually. Somebody asked her, well, would you go there to give birth? And she was like, absolutely not. she will have her mom and she'll have Silas's mom to support her. So at least she does have a support system. And why would you want to go over there with just Silas, where he was going to have to work anyway, and she'll pretty much be alone? So that makes sense. And then we see a confessional from Jordan. She said that she feels bad for them because this is Jasmine's first child and he won't be able to be here. And is this his first child? I don't know. I'm not trying to be shady. I really don't know if this is his first child. Now, I wasn't going to say anything about her reaction to Jasmine announcing that pregnancy, but it felt fake. I wasn't going to say anything. It felt fake because it was like, I wasn't going to say anything about it because she very well could have been happy. But that confessional gave big hater energy. I don't care what nobody says. There's some jealousy going on, and it's coming from Jordan to Jasmine. I don't know if she's jealous of the fact that she's married, and Jordan acts like she's so happy to be single, but for all we know, she really could really want a relationship and marriage and family, and that's her defense mechanism to say, oh no, I'm single, I don't want that right now. You know what I'm saying? Why else would she say that in her confessional? You could have easily said this is their first child together. That's all you had to say. Very nasty work, Jordan. I did not like that. But I do like the fact that everybody joined hands and Noelle prayed over Jasmine. And Jasmine was just in tears. And really, this is all Jasmine wanted, was for people to come and surround her and support her. And I'm glad she at least got it, even if just in that moment. So at the end of the episode, they had Apollo night. Preston was the judge. Portia niece was on crutches and wearing a wig with no forehead. They were called the Meow Meow Meows or whatever. All of it was weird. All of the talents were not really talents. It was just people pretending. Like, I've seen more talent at a 5th grade talent show. Jordan and Nick did an impression of each other and wore each other's clothes. And it was really crazy that Nick was skinny enough to wear Jordan's pants. That doesn't shock me though. He's really fit. Jasmine rapped. Alex sung, and I'm not saying the man can't sing, but he's like teetering on not being able to sing. Bria pretty much did a somersault and threw Milo up in the air with her feet. Amir acted like he wrote some poetry, but he actually got it from ChatGPT. And even though he was exposed, he still won. But yeah, that's the end of that episode. Y'all, they gotta do better, especially if they want a second season. I did see they were getting a reunion. I'm excited about that. They really need a reunion. We need to rehash all of this stuff. I cannot wait to see Summer at this reunion and have to answer for everything she did. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about this review down below. Did you agree with me? Did you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.